Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Do you remember the night that you saw the first official teaser trailer for Descendants: The Rise of Red? I was so excited about it. It was released on July 12th, 2024, and every Descendants fan came together and became the best of friends because they shared their opinions, their predictions for what was going to be a new spin and a new take on a wonderful franchise, comprised of one of the most beautiful casts of all time. I got to be honest with each and every one of you, my heart has filled with so much love and support for Kylie Control through the years. The same thing I feel about Ruby Rose Turner for forever and always, because you know, for many of you who have been subscribed here for a very long time, I've been the biggest fan and supporter of Ruby Rose Turner for forever. I've had the biggest crush on Ruby because she became my favorite Descendants character. And to be honest with each and every one of you, I'm going to miss Ruby being a part of the original cast of Descendants because she offered so much to that in terms of a character, because her character was so beautiful and she was so appreciative of life. And when it came to singing a song like Life is Sweeter When You Are, nobody could do it as effectively or as beautifully as what Ruby Rose Turner ever could. I don't care who you put behind the microphone singing a remix of this one, it's never going to be as beautiful as what Ruby Rose Turner perceived it. And the chance that Ruby Rose Turner had because of this to tell her character's story was really wonderful, and it was a wonderful experience for me to share in with each and every one of you. I'm really going to miss Ruby moving forward with the Descendants franchise, and if you're like me, you want to know when the Descendants 5 with Wonderland teaser is officially going to become available for the first time ever for us all to watch on Disney+. For those of you who have been subscribed to Disney+, reports are indicating that this could be released and become available for the first time ever as early as February 9th, 2026. And if you're wondering how I feel about that, I think it's relatively too early for a teaser trailer to drop. But you can never give enough, appreciation for fans of Descendants and Zombies who have deserved to have their questions answered for a very long time. And I think a lot of people love to create rumors and to get people talking about what could become of Descendants 5 Book Wonderland's story and the direction of the characters and what will become of them. Regardless of what happens in Descendants 5 Book Wonderland, I think that us not knowing what's going to happen makes that future that much more exciting for every fan of Descendants and Zombies, because I've loved hearing your stories about how you guys became fans of Descendants and Zombies. I've loved having the opportunity to share with you how I became a fan of Descendants and Zombies, because I have loved every moment that I've had the honor of recording hundreds of videos with my thoughts in them on Descendants and how I felt about the product, because it was a beautiful story. No matter if you're talking about the original trilogy, of course, headlined by Dove Cameron, Sophia Kirsten, and Cameron Boyce, who offered a lot to this franchise, which many people early on didn't know quite what to make of it, and then eventually a spin-off series was released, The Rise of Red, by July 12, 2024, and I remember being so captivated by The Rise of Red and what it offered to us in terms of a story, because it was so beautifully collaborated. Everything from the music to the powerful script to the beautiful story of each individual character, because every character in Descendants had a beautiful story to contribute to this franchise, and I think we're going to be in store for many more installments in the very near future, regardless of when they drop. But I think that a lot of people have deserved to have their questions answered in terms of a teaser trailer and what the plot is going to be comprised of, because there have been so many speculations made about Descendants that I can understand why people feel the way they do. And I can really understand why this has become everybody's favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel of all time, because if anybody knows anything having to do with Descendants, it's got to be Jonathan Clarke, right? By the way, guys, this is your favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel of all time. Rest assured that regardless of when the release window is looking like for Descendants 5's official trailer to drop, it will drop. Usually what Disney does is they will wait up until 30 days before the release of a movie to drop an official teaser. As early as 2 months before the movie officially becomes available on Disney Plus and Disney Channel, it will become available, because it's called a marketing strategy and it's called a promotional campaign. I have seen this done many times throughout my years involved with the entertainment industry. They are not going to drop this one no later than 2 months before the movie is released, or as late as 1 month, 30 nights before the movie is released, and that will get everybody so excited. Can you imagine how much of an absolute buzz the Descendants community is going to be when this teaser first drops? I remember the first ever teaser that was dropped for Descendants: The Rise of Red and how excited everybody was. And just being a part of that moment, to be caught up in that moment with each and every one of you and have the chance to share in that moment with each and every one of you, The excitement was really at an all-time high, and the level of appreciation I had coming from my heart for fans of Descendants of Zombies, I really felt for each and every one of you. Because for the first time in over 5 years, after we had an emotional goodbye for the original Descendants trilogy and the original cast, Descendants fans have been given something to believe in. And if I was ever going to record my thoughts about anything, it was going to have to be something nice to be said about the Descendants franchise, because I knew what a lot of critics were going to do. Because it's been said many times over the years, everybody is a critic, but should we necessarily buy into what the critics are trying to make us believe and trying to sell to us? Because they are trying to sell us their Kool-Aid all the time, trying to make us believe things that aren't necessarily true or believable about the Descendants franchise, but because of age demographics and how young people are, some people really do believe what critics are trying to tell them. But from what I've been reading, reports are indicating that the first official teaser trailer for Descendants 5 Book 1 and 9 could be available as early as February 9th, 2026, although the most important thing to be said here is that has not officially been confirmed. But all that means is that I'm going to have to upload videos about Descendants of Zombies and Kylie and Ruby and Malia and continue to have these conversations with you guys for the rest of my life. And as crazy as that sounds, I have no problem in doing that because I've had a greater appreciation for Descendants of Zombies for a very long time. And I have loved all these moments that we really created together. Because you guys gave me a chance to be a part of something special at least once in my lifetime, and a chance that I will never ever forget any of you because of. You guys have forever and always held a very special place in my heart, and I have forever and always supported you with an endless amount of love and support, because I have always believed that the Descendants of Zombies community, the Descendants of Zombies universe, if anything, deserves better reviews about Descendants of Zombies and to be given the respect and shown the dignity that they have forever and always deserved. And that's why so many Descendants of Zombies fans have obviously seen something special on this YouTube channel from its very beginning, from the very first video that was ever uploaded here, and I can never seem to express enough gratitude nor enough appreciation for everybody who has obviously seen something special in me. You know, I would love to be the writer and producer and the director of Descendants, or a cast member, because I will become everybody's favorite cast member because of just how appreciative I am of the fandom. I know that Descendants of Zombies would have never happened, or never would have became what it is, if not for each and every one of you. How you attended the meet and greets, how you bought the tickets for the Worlds Collide Tour, how you supported them with t-shirts and hoodies and buying the dolls, which many of you probably have on display on a shelf in your room. Because I know what it's like to be each and every one of you and be crazy about collecting things like gargoyle action figures or Sailor Moon merchandise from 1995. And you're saying to yourself, hey Jonathan Clarke, this YouTube channel is really cool. You're talking to us about Sailor Moon. I was a big fan of Sailor Moon because of the personalities of the characters, and just seeing the Sailor Scouts having to deal with what they had to from episode to episode was something really special. And then, of course, I was a fan of a TV show produced by Disney many years ago from 1994 to 1999, Gargoyles, and I remember being so captivated by the original Gargoyles action figures. There was so much of an opportunity for Disney to capitalize on merch sales years ago, but there was so much more of an evident opportunity to become captivated by your favorite TV show, no matter what it was. I was a fan of everything Disney had happening for it, and I took away a greater appreciation for original Disney animation, the Disney movie productions years ago, like 101 Dalmatians, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland. And I can remember being very young, between the ages of 5 to 12 years old, and watching these movies. I would save up my money on the weekends, and I would spend all of my money on these movies, Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland. And if there ever was a guy in this universe who was so appreciative of Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland, it would have had to have been Jonathan Clarke. I have loved having this appreciation and showcasing this appreciation for every fan of Descendants of Zombies, because I've always believed you guys have deserved better. And I have had the time of my life not only having the chance to talk about Descendants of Zombies, but I've had the time of my life supporting your favorite characters who I can never believe could ever have enough support shown for them, given how critics have felt about them. They never ever wanted to give anybody like Ruby Rose Turner or Kylie Control much of a chance because they preferred the original cast, and because they felt that way, they took to their social media accounts and they let everybody know how they truly felt about it. I think that that was pretty much just jumping to a formidable conclusion, and I know that there are a lot of people who have forever been supportive of the original cast, and I get how you guys must feel. But nobody has the right to come down with so much harsh criticism on the new cast of Descendants and what they have done for this franchise. If anything, they have given us something to believe in, more than we have ever been given by Disney to ever believe in, because they took a script and they really brought it to life. The people at Disney are pretty much just directors, writers, and producers that put concepts in front of us just to wait to see how we're going to respond to it. And if we give it an overwhelming response, they will capitalize on it in ways that we never imagined, like so much merch, or concerts, or ticket sales. However they can, whatever they can put the name of Kylie Cantrell on, they're going to do it. Or Ruby, or Malia. I get it. But the thing is, what it comes down to is how appreciative we are of it and how the cast brings it to life. You know, you can have as many directors, writers, and producers in their face all the time trying to tell them how to perceive their characters and how this is the way the character should be. But it's all about how they believe in the characters themselves. Because when they were little girls, they loved Cinderella and they loved Alice in Wonderland and they loved Sleeping Beauty just as much. So they had an appreciation for Ever and Always they carried with them ever since at least the age of 9 years old. Can you imagine being 9 years old and watching High School Musical for the first time ever? I watched High School Musical when I was 25, but I can only imagine what watching High School Musical was at the age of 9 years old must have meant for Kylie Cantrell and how she must have felt. You know, wanting to be a part of these on-stage productions like Hannah Montana, you know, doing her own concert, singing in a room with her karaoke machine, wishing to have the opportunities that Hannah Montana and people like Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens had the opportunity to captivate millions of people because of. And years later, when she finally got a call up from Disney, she was so excited. I can only imagine the emotion in her eyes and the tears in her eyes when she found out she was going to be a part of Descendants in a High School Musical. From that moment on, I knew I wanted to be a part of something special that had everything to do with Kylie Cantrell. And if I ever was going to say anything about Kylie Cantrell or having anything to do with Kylie Cantrell whatsoever, it was going to have to be something nice. I know I have a lot of crazy stories that I've shared with you guys about how I crashed my car into a billboard one night when I just simply wanted to catch the premiere of High School Musical 3 senior year because I knew it was going to be the last High School Musical movie ever released and produced. So I crashed my car into a billboard, and on that night I remember the theater being completely sold out. There wasn't a seat to be seen in the theater. And I remember this one girl coming in behind me with her grandmother, and her grandmother looked at her and she said, "This is supposed to be your night." And I knew they didn't have a seat, but I had previously booked my seat, so out of consideration for them and wanting them to have the best night of their life, I believe it was the girl's 16th birthday, I got up and I gave them my seat, and I had to resort to watching the movie in the back of the theater. But the level of appreciation I had for every fan in that theater that night, even though I got to watch the movie from the back of the theater, it made it one of the greatest nights of my life because I got to be a part of history. And I got to be a part of history nearly 15 and a half years later, a decade and a half later, with you guys as fans of Descendants of Zombies, because you guys allowed me to be a part of this. You gave me an opportunity to be a part of it, and I am forever and eternally grateful of every single person who has ever hit my subscribe button, who has ever believed in the chance of something magical happening for Descendants of Zombies. Because if you ever believed in magic in your lifetime, I think now is the time more than ever to believe in magic. And I think there's more of a chance ever than ever before to take a chance on these beautiful characters that have represented these franchises so significantly. I have forever and always supported Kylie Cantrell. I will forever continue to support Kylie Cantrell in that foreseeable future, because the reality about this future is we still have a long way to go and so much of a story for these characters to tell. And I'm just so excited to be a part of it. Because when you think about Alice in Wonderland's story and the Queen of Hearts and her daughter Red, I mean, what do we really know about Red? We know she's fearless. She's never really cared what anybody has thought about her. And I think those are really cool qualities when you never really care what anybody thought of her. But how, convenient is that? Because Kylie Cantrell is playing this character who doesn't care what anybody really thinks about her. But in real life, Kylie Cantrell cares about what everybody thinks about her. She's one of the most emotional people I've ever seen in my life. I've been so appreciative to have the honor of profiling Kylie Cantrell. And if there's one guy out there that knows everything there is to have known about Kylie Cantrell, it's this guy. And each time that I've learned something new about Kylie Cantrell, like her devotion to creating gift baskets for people she loves and spending time around the people that she loves so much just to have the opportunity to tell them that she loves them, I've taken away a greater appreciation for Kylie Cantrell every single time, because she's just like each and every one of us. She is unique in her own way. She understands how people are created equal, and she's never looked down on any of us. I know that Kylie Cantrell's political point of view may have ended up in conversations when it never really had to be. I know that her relationship may have been taken out of context by people who love to, review entertainment gossip or what have you. But the thing is, if you actually sit back and put into perspective just how wonderful of a person Kylie Cantrell is, you will have the time of your life talking about her, and you will have a greater appreciation for her, and you will feel so honored to have been a fan of Descendants of Zombies. You know something? From the very first moment that I saw Ruby Rose Turner give something back special to the Descendants franchise, I knew she was going to have many more opportunities come her way. And I wanted to be a part of that, no matter if I had to record hundreds of videos with my thoughts in them on people like Ruby, because I wanted them to know that I loved them with all of my heart for how much they offered to this franchise, how much they gave it life, how much incentive they showed, along with heart and dedication, for each and every one of you. Because you guys have deserved to be a part of something special for a very long time. And you gotta believe me, I have felt more than honored to have been a part of this with each and every one of you. While I may never seem to have the answers to the questions that you guys have about a girl chasing a rabbit down through a rabbit hole, which, come to think of it, I would love to have the opportunity to do, because there's just something about the thought of having the chance to chase a white rabbit down through a rabbit hole that may have been closed for years, centuries. I would love the opportunity to do it. I would love the opportunity to jump inside this gigantic vortex, never seeming to know what's inside of it. I know there could be something inside of that thing that could kill me, but I seemingly have been the only YouTube creator who have voluntarily offered to jump inside of this vortex and never felt more excited to be a part of it. I think these stories are wonderful. They've obviously resonated with us for over 50 years, which is over half of a century, which is a really long time. And I think because they've resonated with us for over half of a century, it gives us something to believe in more than we ever have in our own lives. Because I know there are people out there that are probably a little bit older than probably the main age demographic that watches this video, who can remember watching Alice in Wonderland like I can about 30 years ago. And you love that story just as much as what you did 25 years ago when you were 7 years old. I remember watching this movie, and I remember the curiosity of Alice being so captivating to me. And I remember how she just sacrificed everything to make friends with all these magical characters who were part and reside in Wonderland. And seeing Descendants really take a magical story like Alice in Wonderland and give it more life and show it more incentive than ever before has become the greatest honor of my life. Because we can never have enough opportunity, seemingly, to talk about Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella and give it the appreciation that it's forever and always been deserving of. I remember when the Cinderella live action was created for the first time ever, and ever before that, the Alice in Wonderland live action was first created in 2010. That was the first live action princess that Disney ever created for a live action movie in 2010. Of course, Johnny Depp was the Mad Hatter, and a lot of people felt very differently about Johnny Depp and everything he had going on for him. But I remember how magical that story was, and how Disney retold one of its first live-action classics in such an emphatic way, and then followed Beauty and the Beast, and then came Aladdin, and so many after that. And now reports are indicating we're going to see Tangled and Hercules created, and I think that's going to make for wonderful times and create so many wonderful memories for so many fans of these live actions and the original Disney Princess lineup, which of course began with Snow White back in 1938 after Walt Disney had seen a silent version of the film. And I've just had so much fun being a part of these conversations with so many wonderful people, and I can only hope that somewhere, somehow, in each video that I've ever had the honor of uploading and creating for each and every one of you, you guys have taken away a greater appreciation each time that you watched any of these videos, because this was never my video or my channel. This was always your channel, and the content that was created here was created for you. And I just wanted to tell this in a very different way from every other YouTube creator who may have ever told the story of Descendants or Zombies, or at least attempted. And I say attempted very lightly, because that's all they've ever seemed to do. Because the greater appreciation for Descendants and Zombies has always come from the people who believe in it so much, with all of their heart. And I know you're a person watching this video. I don't have to know you to know whether or not you're a great person, because everybody is a wonderful person in their own way. I think everybody is a fan of Descendants and Zombies in some way or somehow, because we fall in love with these stories, we felt inspired by these beautiful characters, and we have never taken more of a chance on a franchise. We never took that same chance on High School Musical and Hannah Montana, if we could be real for a moment. And I think that we have had our questions having been deserving of answers for a very long time. And I think that the anticipation and the excitement has never been more at an all-time high for every fan of Descendants of Zombies, giving us a chance more than ever before to at least be a part of something special at least once in our lifetime. So as we're looking at it right now, it looks like February 9th, 2026 will be the first time ever that an official teaser for Descendants Spybook Wonderland is going to officially drop. You know, I remember the first night the first ever trailer for Descendants: The Rise of Red was released, and Red, all she ever wanted to do was paint Wonderland red. And she took off all crazy like and wanted to spray paint the town red. And ever since we saw that teaser trailer, and then another one was released about how Uma had sent an invitation, an invite to Princess Red in Wonderland to attend Ordon Prep for the first time ever because the barrier was going to be reopened. I know how everybody felt captivated about it. I know because I was there, and I experienced it like each and every one of you, and I felt like I've been attending Ordon Prep and been a citizen of Ordon, the All of the Lost for forever, and really represented these VKs and these AKs in such an emphatic way. If there's anybody who ever knows anything about Descendants of Zombies, this is the one guy you should trust in and always believe in, because if there's something to talk about Descendants of Zombies, I am there, and I am all in for these conversations. Guys, thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time, because we still got a long way to go. And I haven't even got any cupcakes or donuts made for the journey, because that's why I've always wanted Ruby Rose Turner to be a part of my life, because Ruby Rose Turner has always allowed me to help me make sense of everything happening for me. Plus, Ruby Rose Turner looks like a really sweet person, one of those really genuine people, and I think we can never see enough of these people in our lifetime, because I think this world, obviously there are a lot of wonderful people who exist out there in this world, but we can never see enough of them. And I know really good people do exist, because I've experienced this firsthand with how people have felt about Descendants of Zombies, because I've had the honor of meeting millions of people who have felt inspired by these franchises, and thank you so much for that opportunity. An opportunity I've obviously taken full advantage of and really seized, because I've loved being a part of these experiences and these chances that have been given to me, presented to me, because of how each and every one of you have felt so especially about Descendants of Zombies. So if you're watching a Jonathan Clarke video for the first time ever and you would like to continue to be a part of these conversations, why don't you think about subscribing? Because that decision is entirely up to you. We've still got a long way to go, because this story is far from over, and anybody who has ever believed this story is far from over should perhaps continue on believing in that, because we still have a long way to go. Thank you so much for believing in Descendants of Zombies as much as what you have. Thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. And thank you from my heart to yours for having watched this video. I'm your host, Jonathan Clarke, and all I have remaining to be said is that I love Descendants of Zombies just as much as each and every one of you. Thank you so much for believing in Descendants of Zombies as much as what you have. It's been my honor.